Well, hello everyone. The Ontario Gardener here, back with another feature highlight of City Skylines 2. Today, we're going to be talking about city services. Now, this may not be the most fun one of the ones we've done so far, but there's a lot to cover, and I'm still not done. A lot to cover. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the video. As always, I'll pause it as we go along, and I'll add my kind of... I'm going to do it like this. Let's turn that off. My kind of
Successful
commentary.
city building and City Skylines 2 is all about people, anticipating their needs and desires, ensuring they feel safe, and actually keeping them
Love
safe.
the graphics, by the way.
Understanding.
And I will say this, as I always say, is that this is in-game footage. This is not a made trailer. This is all from in-game footage, which, like, look at the building on the bottom left. It has like ductwork on the ceiling or on the roof. It has satellite dishes. So cool. That looks like a grain factory or a grain processing plant behind those buildings there. In the top right-hand corner here, my mouse is, looks like, maybe low or mid-income, low-income housing. Cool bridges, mountains in the background. Amazing.
That annoys and delights them, and doing what it takes to give them healthy, happy lives from beginning to end. How? City services.
Here we go.
You'll build clinics and hospitals to deliver health care, plus the ambulance service people need in life or death situations. Oh, yeah, sometimes it will be a death situation.
Of course. That
So
guy
you'll
didn't
add
stop.
death care services that transport people to the city's crematoriums and cemeteries.
So what's cool about this is, like, in the previous Sims, I keep referring to SimCity because it still counts. In City Skylines, you had cemeteries, you had hospitals, you had little hospitals, you had big hospitals, etc. Same with fire stations, police stations, etc. But, like, I think they're making it more of a thing. Now, it doesn't show how the cemetery works. Now, I don't know, is this one of those drag and drops like you do for the cornfields? Or is this just a stamped building? Because this looks pretty big. But it's neat, though, that they're putting more emphasis on this type of thing instead of it just being like a stampable thing that's like, okay, death, blah, blah, blah. They have hearses. They have things that make it feel more realistic, I believe.
You'll set up schools for kids of all ages.
Look at that.
Plus colleges and universities.
Love it.
After all, education fosters social...
All right, let's look here. So you have elementary school, high school, college, universities. Now, depending on where you are, what part of the world you're in Canada here, you have like colleges, which are more like a 2-year program, university or 4-year program. Down in the States, you have colleges that are a 4-year program, and you have universities that are also a 4-year program. Usually your big like state schools like UCLA and, Texas Tech and all these other big schools are considered more university, where you go for higher education. But again, depends on where you are. These reflect, but basically elementary school, high school, college is like, this is the order. The most highly educated will go to university, of course, and then it goes down the line to least educated, which would be elementary school. And then here you have, education distribution. Like, none of this looks that different. It is kind of broken down a little bit more. It's not just like uneducated, educated, high. There's 5 different categories, which is good. You obviously want to have everybody educated or above, depending on, what you're trying to grow in your city. Down here, your legends, again, I'm pretty sure you can change colors of these things. I'm not positive, but to me, I think you can. And you can see along here, it looks like on the bottom right here, we have a lot of universities or different school areas. Here's like school. Schools are everywhere because you need to have schools everywhere when you have a big population. Citizen education, this is just a slider color of where people are, more educated versus not. Education coverage. These almost look, I don't know how these are that much different. It could be the different building, and this is network color. So the red looks like it's poor, which means there's like, maybe this is university, but there's no actual schools here, which is why some of these are like a light yellow color or even like a brown color, which shows low education. And over here, they're more of a green or like a different green color, shows high education, which is good.
advancements. Life still might take a turn for the
Amazing.
worse for some people. When it does, you'll want the safety net of a welfare office.
So this is one new thing that's in this game, which I think is really, really cool. You see the top of administration buildings. This is under administration tab, which I guess would be under your police tab. So you have police, and then I think this is like city services. Welfare office, citizen well-being, green, green is good. Welfare coverage. Same thing with like how the police and schools, the coverage, how it spreads. But a welfare office is good because before, If people couldn't afford to live in your city, they moved out. But here you could actually, give them money to help live, which then in turn would potentially get them jobs and put money back into the city.
One thing that improves everyone's well-being, no matter what's going on in life, is time outdoors.
Look at this. This is
We'll
awesome.
create parks, plazas, attractions, and landmarks that make people living
I want to go
nearby-
back real quick.
Landmarks that make people live.
Sorry, I want to go back real quick to look at that
We'll
menu.
Create parks.
So what it shows here, this is under parks, but it looks like there's maybe trees, parks, basketball, soccer. I'm not sure what that would be. Maybe a shooting range, target practice or something, or hiking maybe. This looks like a landmark, but it's cool. Different size parks. I'm not sure how old this city is. It says 123. I'm not sure if that's how many blocks it is, or it doesn't really show you an age, I guess. Does it? Maybe down here underneath the volume thing, it shows you an age. We'll have to check it when I hit play, but it looks like there's lots of different types here. Leisure activities, park maintenance vehicles. That's super cool. Maintenance buildings. I love having, things that you place down that you have to have maintenance to, because in real life, all your parks need to be maintained. Grass needs to be cut, trees need to be trimmed, stuff like that. Snow needs to be plowed, and you have to pay for that. Normally parks, you place them and that's it, but no, you have to have services that help support that.
Plazas, attractions, and landmarks that make people living nearby happier and healthier.
That's what we want.
As in real life, safety first.
Look at
is a good
the
mantra
fire,
in
the
city
flames. That's
Skylines
really
II.
cool though.
So you'll want various fire and rescue services. Just adding a firehouse reduces the likelihood of a blaze in the.
So look under the fire tab here. It looks like this is a small firehouse. This may be like a watchtower, large fire station, and then I'm not sure what is this supposed to be. It just says fire, obviously average fire hazard. Look at these rescue buildings, fire watch towers. Maybe put these in more like rural areas. Fire engines, fire tower range. Like this is so much more involved or in depth than what it used to be. Before you place it down and you place multiple. No, you place different things now. This looks like this is probably service of those type of buildings. Very cool.
neighborhood. Same with police stations. Build them and send patrols out onto the streets to cut crime.
I wonder if you can set the patrols.
Communications is a new city service in City Skylines II, helping you meet more essential needs. That includes the internet.
So this is the coolest part about this video, in my opinion, is there's, before there was never any sort of communication tab. Even when City Skylines 1 came out, SimCity, there were internet existed, cell phones existed, sometimes very infancy, but they existed. But nowadays in 2023, who doesn't have internet? Who doesn't have a cell phone? Who doesn't have, some kind of device that connects you to the world? And by introducing this, I think it brings so much more realism. I'm not sure if some of these are maybe radio towers, internet towers. This says telecom, so that would be maybe a cell phone tower, telecom coverage, network quality. So like in your downtown core, like you're gonna probably have to have like big internet buildings to supply all these guys with internet, and because it's so cool, because it has quality. Right? So internet quality or it says network quality. It's so awesome because like the farther away you are from a tower, just like in real life, your signal is going to be worse. But look at that. This costs £1 million or $1 million in in-game dollars for this, which is pretty hefty.
Naturally, the easier it is to connect to the web, the happier everyone will feel,
Look
and
at
the more
that.
profitable the city's businesses
That's
will be.
awesome.
Of course, everyone relies on electricity.
That's amazing.
So you want to avoid long outages.
Yeah, that's bad.
They aren't just aggravating. Blackouts will prompt people to move out and force businesses to pause production, putting profits at risk.
Oh, I want to go back one frame. So here, electricity availability. I mean, these aren't really any different than what you've seen before. Electricity trade. So you can import and export. Looks like we are exporting power here in this map, which is cool. Battery charge. So it looks like you can have some sort of battery system. Which maybe that's what this is. This one looks like some kind of transformer. It doesn't. Some of these may just be placeholder icons because like this looks finished, this looks finished. This doesn't look finished at all. Like the icon. So maybe these are just kind of WIP, work in progress for this is. But look, nuclear plant, parking lots. But look at this, power plants, transformers. I think that's maybe what this is supposed to be. Which obviously breaks down heavy power to smaller current power to go to your houses and stuff. Batteries, electricity consumption. That's cool that it shows what buildings are consuming more power, which maybe means you have to have more batteries there. Low voltage electric cables, high voltage power lines. That's so awesome. This is becoming more in depth. So you basically have your high power voltage lines that go to a transformer, and that then steps down to low voltage, Wind speed, groundwater, these are just things that we'll talk about in a second here.
Profits at risk. Keep electricity lines
Look at that.
running with sustainable energy sources
Ooh, cool.
like wind, solar, geothermal, and
So the next one she's going to say
Hydropower.
is hydropower. So if you remember early SimCity, you had hydroelectric dams, which were so OP. You always had some sort of solar. This looks like a geothermal system, which I have geothermal heating in my house. Which basically what you do is you pump either water or a liquid into the ground to a certain depth. Once you hit a certain depth underground, the temperature stays the same. Maybe it's 50 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet. I don't know what it is, but it stays the same. No matter what the seasons are, it stays the same. So what you do is you pump liquid down into the ground, like what these pipes are showing, into the ground, and then you pump it back up, and what comes back up is a certain temperature, and you bring that through, and you put that through heat exchangers or through condensers to make heat, or to make it could also be used to make power, which I think you're using this for power, not for heat. But it's the same type of thing. This geothermal may just be off of venting, steam vents in the ground, but it still comes from the ground. I guess I'm trying to get across is like geothermal is a very good way. People heat their house with geothermal, and it can be used for power as well. But maybe we're not using it for heat in this game, but I think the same principles apply. So don't comment on that too much.
go old school with fossil fuels
Heck
like
yeah,
coal
look at
and
that.
gas.
I love how you can
There's
upgrade
always
things.
the nuclear option too.
Yeah, nuclear, baby.
This is the most realistic city builder ever.
Ever.
So you'll need to deal with a lot of
A lot of stuff. So we obviously know what this is. This is sewage runoff, and this looks like a plant down here, and they're going to get into it in a second. But you remember the old games? You basically picked a spot far away on the map where nothing's going to be, and you dump all the sewage just into the water because sewage plants were too expensive. You know, they cost so much money. You never had them in the beginning of the game anyway. So you dump it into the river, or you built a lake and you dump it into a lake. I'm hoping this is a lot more realistic, where you can't just like terraform a lake and dump it in there. Hopefully there's some sort of negative effects with that. Stuff.
We're talking sewage.
There you go.
Gross? Yes.
Very gross.
Necessary? Also
Definitely,
yes.
of course.
With a wastewater treatment plant.
So the cool part with this type of system, you look here, water availability, water trade. We're importing water here. Wow, 271,000 cubic meters a month. That seems like a lot to me, but maybe not for a city. Sewage treatment, sewage export. That's cool. You can export your sewage. Freshwater facilities. That's interesting. Water pipes, sewage pipes. Now these are connected underground. Your roads in general. You can see them here. Oh, it looks like they're actually going inside of these houses or whatever this building is. That's really cool that if that's how it actually shows, because you have water, which is blue, and you have the yellow, which is if they show it going into every little building, like it looks like it's doing that here. That's really cool, because you remember there are pipes still in the game, but the way that it works is underneath every sort of road you have water. And you have sewage, and you also have power, I believe. But since we're in the water tab, it's not going to show your power lines. But looks like there's different things here. Water towers. Some of these are probably just placeholder images. This might be. I'm not sure what that would be. Maybe a dam. This is a treatment plant. This one is an exit pipe. This is unlocked. This looks like maybe like a warehouse or a workstation. But it's cool how it's like things are intertwining together.
You can purify sewage and circulate water into your city's freshwater network. Or you can pump sewage into open waters and out of the network.
There you go.
Don't forget to stay on top of garbage.
So this is so cool, because if you remember in one of the videos where it had about zoning, I think where it showed zoning for like the farming, it shows here that, before when you place down a garbage dump, it filled the dump. Or if you kind of if you had mods, it would just fill like a void or something, right? But the coolest part with this is basically you're adding nodes with this selection here I'm sure, because your capacity goes up as you add nodes, and it looks like this is the radius that it can be within, and you design it however you want to fit that, which I think is really, really cool. It makes it look more realistic instead of it just being like a square like this.
Garbage processing centers, landfills, and an incineration plant will stop it piling up. But don't take shortcuts.
Whoa,
Air and water pollution can sink land values, harm the health of residents,
of course,
and tarnish the city's appeal to tourists.
They don't like it.
Ready to introduce a city service?
Yes.
Previously, you only had to construct a city
Okay, so they're going to get into this in a second, but the coolest part with this is that you can upgrade and expand buildings. I'll let her talk about it.
service building. When that service needed to cover a larger area or support more people, you simply constructed the same building again.
Right, which is annoying.
Not anymore.
It's not realistic.
Almost all city services can now be
Upgrade,
upgraded to
heck
scale
yes.
operations and expand
Yes.
functionality.
Yes, it's awesome.
While city services make your city livable, they come at a cost.
They cost, look at that,
Balancing
$2 million
these costs and the
healthcare.
very real needs of everyone in your city is the name of the game.
Oh, it's amazing.
Subscribe to the City Skylines II YouTube channel for updates and more
So
future
basically, the city services that used to exist in the game are still there. I don't think they got rid of anything. You have your water, power, sewage, your police, healthcare, or whatever. But they've expanded on it to make it more realistic. To it makes you, I think, just think a bit more instead of just placing down 10 hospitals, like in a certain radius to satisfy. You place hospitals and then you upgrade them to make them better. Which in real life, if you have a town that's growing, they'll just add a wing onto a school. They'll add a wing onto a hospital. They'll add onto the police station. They're not going to build a brand new police station. They'll just add onto it. They'll upgrade what they are to put more jail cells or more booking desks or more fire truck, bays or something like that. And which is more realistic than just building new ones right down the road. Like that's less realistic. And this is cool because it's making it very in depth, very realistic, and I think that's the coolest part with the city services. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Next week, we're going to talk about electricity and water, which I think this is going to be also sewage. And I think this is going to be very much in depth. We touched on it here as far as different power types, but it'd be so cool to see. And stay tuned for that for next week. And then we have a bunch more. We're only at service 5, and we go all the way to service 13. Some of these again, I may aren't going to be that cool, but being able to make cinematic cameras and making videos, like realistic videos, like maybe drone footage or something, I think would look very, very, very cool. Progression, this is interesting to me as well. Lifespan, maps and themes, this is going to be cool to look at. Climate, I'm looking forward to like snow or, desert or something like that. Production, that's cool. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this review or this, feature highlight, please consider leaving me a comment, as well as a comment would be much appreciated. And if you're enjoying this type of series or any other video on my channel, hit that subscribe button, tick the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything. And also down below in the description, the Ontario Outdoorsman, if you'd be so kind to head on over and leave me a follow on my new channel, trying to reach 1,000 subscribers for my second channel. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you next time.